Hello everyone, this is Renier Castellanos, and today we're going to see a very interesting game that cannot be found in the database, I think, because it was played in Spain, and most of these tournaments don't really get published on internet. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, it's a very interesting game. It was I think it was played in the last round of the Balaguer tournament, in the first table, between Baklan with the white pieces and Burmakin with black. Okay, let's get to it. The game was e4, c6, d4, d5, and e5. This lately there is a common thought that this is the best way for white to fight for the advantage. Bishop f5, and now knight f3. The quiet setup. Knight f3, bishop e2, and just play for the space advantage. Another common move is knight d2 and knight b3 really fast. Alright, after e6, bishop e2, knight d7, these are normal moves. Castle, and now Burmakin plays h6. Typical idea. He wants to play bishop h7 and knight e7 afterwards. Alright, now white plays c3. This move is very interesting with the plan that follows. Very popular nowadays is knight bd2. The idea of knight bd2 is to play knight b3 on the next move, and then to restrict black's breakthrough with c5. That's the idea. Knight b3, bishop e3 sometimes, or bishop d2 with an eye on a5, but that's a different kind of game. Today we will talk about the move c3, and after knight e7, white plays knight a3. A very interesting move. The knight goes all the way to e1, and in general the knight wants to be on f4, so it could go knight c2, knight e1, knight d3, knight f4, or sometimes also g3, knight g2, and then knight f4, depending on what black plays. Alright, the game continues with bishop h7, but before we continue with the game, let's look at a few alternatives. Okay, the move knight a3 was first played by Filipino Grandmaster Torre, but then Anand took it against Karpov in the year 91. That game went, Karpov played a6, Anand played knight c2, bishop h7, knight e1, c5, and now bishop d3. A very interesting concept. White trades his good bishop, but the thing is that the bishop on a7 is also very active and is a good defender of the king's side. So after bishop takes on d3, knight takes, Karpov played knight g6. The Torre game I mentioned it earlier continued with rook c8, and now rook e1. Maybe rook e1 doesn't go too well with this position. g6, knight f4, h5, h3, bishop a6, knight d3, and the game was a draw after queen b6. Probably the position is equal. Okay, Karpov played knight g6, and okay, Anand played now g3 which looks more natural. The idea is to play h4, and then after h5, knight f4, rook e1, rook c8, bishop e3, trying to make black make up his mind about the center, if he's going to take or close with c4. It's very important to notice how the black king is stuck in the center because of the pawn on h5 needs to be defended by the rook on h8. So after c4, knight c1, now white has the square g5, for example, and he also has possibilities of opening the queen side with b3. Okay, this is not so easy, but white has a little advantage, a steady advantage, because of the space that he has. White pieces look more, white's game is easier. Queen c2, knight b6, and then knight e2. This is how Anand played. Queen d7, knight g5. The king cannot move. So Karpov is, of course, very solid. Bishop d8, knight h3, with the idea of knight f4. One knight is going to be on f4, always with an eye on h5. After knight c8, knight f4, knight takes, knight e7, queen d1, forcing the move g6, which weakens more the dark squares. And then continue with knight h3, knight f5, bishop g5. Okay, the bad bishop becomes good now, so Karpov must take, otherwise the bishop stays on f6 or something. So, and after knight g5, still is not clear for black. The position is still uncomfortable. Probably because white has possibilities on both sides of the board. That's the problem. So queen e7, king g2, b5, queen d2, rook b6, and now b4, closing the queen side and threatening a4. If Karpov allows a4, then white would win very easily, because the pressure on the a file and also the pressure on the king side. So Karpov must take. And after rook c6, b4, fixing the pawn on a6, and also white wants to defend c3 on the third rank with the rook on a3 or on b3. Castle, rook b1, rook b3, king d7, knight f3, and now after queen d8, rook a5, knight e7, queen f4, and then put a lot of pressure in black's position. Karpov played a good game, and the game was a draw, but Anand had winning chances at some point. Alright, back to this position in which Karpov played a6 in the early days of the move knight a3. There are also other moves that have been played. For example, rook c8. This was played recently by Nakamura against Svidler in a rapid game. Okay, after knight c2, c5, and okay, in this position white takes on c5. The idea of taking on c5 is that after After black recaptures on c5, white plays knight d4, bishop e3, and he had and plays for the advance c3 c4. So black played bishop c2, eliminating one of the knights, queen takes, and knight c5. For the moment, black doesn't need to be worried about c4 anymore, and he just needs to play knight c6, bishop e7, and castle. His position would be quite solid. Rook d1, ideas of c4, knight d7, queen a4, knight c6, bishop e3, and now black played a6, which was it was quite a big mistake, because after c4 white obtained a very good game. Instead of a6, black could play bishop c5. Of course, this is a rapid game, probably not really important, and there must be quite a few improvements for both sides. But it's very interesting to see the general plans for both sides. Another move that was played against Baklan was c5. This move didn't work well. For example, d takes on c5. As usual, this is the usual response. White wants to use the d4 square, knight c6, and okay, for example, if knight c5, it could be knight b5 with the idea of knight bd4 and bishop e3 and then c4, or it could be also knight d4 immediately, and after bishop a7, for example, c4. That could be a plan. Okay, he played black played knight c6 and then b4. The pawn on c5 is usually very annoying. So now black must take on e5, otherwise bishop f4. So, and also knight b5, knight d6 is a positional threat. So takes knight b5. The knight is going to d4. Black prevents, and then knight d4 anyway. If bishop h7, then the white plays bishop b5 and queen a4 with a lot of pressure on c6. That's just one of the ways to play. So he takes, queen takes on d4, and white is slightly better. It's very difficult for black to develop the king side. There is a threat of bishop b5 check. So the opening has been a disaster for black. The game continued with bishop e7, queen takes g7, bishop f6, queen g3, defending c3, and after king f8, bishop f4. All the pieces are very well coordinated. Black doesn't have any counterplay. Bishop d6 is in the air, so after bishop g6, rook d1, now c4 is a threat. c4, h4, bishop d6 check, king d7, queen f4. Black is lost. The game went d4, probably sacrificing the exchange wings, but it's not really necessary. Bishop f3, rook b8, and bishop c7. Very nice move, but okay, bishop b8, bishop e5, there are many ways to win. This was played in 2005 between Baklan, like I said, and Erwin Lamy with the black pieces, both grandmasters. Okay, bishop h7 was the move played in our main game. Now knight c2, and black plays now knight c8. I don't like this move. It has become a popular plan since Topalov played against Leko in a similar position, not the same position, but similar. The idea of knight to c8, bishop e7, and the knight from c8 goes to b6 later, and c4. That's the plan. In this position, it's probably not the best move black could play. It was a novelty, like I said, and previously black had played knight f5, g3. The whole idea is to prevent knight h4, and also to prepare g4 in good conditions. That would trap the knight on f5 sometimes. So white wants to play knight e1 and knight g2, and then g4, winning the knight. It looks very simple, I think. Bishop e7, knight e1, castle, and knight g2. Okay, white is not trapping the knight, but black doesn't have a real active game. If the queen must be on d8, is because of the constant threat of g4. In general, white is enjoying his space advantage. Now after c5, bishop d3, coordinating his pieces. Now black plays c4. I think the idea of c4 is because there are some threats with g4 in the air that could be dangerous. However, it was also possible to take on d4, and after c takes on d4, rook c8, white should play the move bishop d2 with the idea of bishop c3. This is a common operation here. The bishop is great on c3 because it defends b2, d4, and also blockades the c file. So this means that black's counterplay is stopped by just this bishop on c3. For example, after knight b8, maybe queen b3 with the idea of rook c1 and play on the c file, or immediately bishop c3 as well. In that game, black plays c4, and after bishop c2, rook e8. Black was not a very strong player, but still rook e8 makes little sense. Bishop d2, rook b8. The idea is to play b5, and black could not play b5 immediately because after b5 a4 he cannot play b4. So, and if he has to take, then b2 is not really weak. b2 is very easy to defend, and we can't say the same about black's a7, which would need the rook on a8 all the time. Okay, so rook b8, a4, a5, and now h4. What's the plan with h4? White wants to play king h2, king h3, and then g4. Interesting. Knight f8, king h2. For example, if let's make some silly move like knight d7 to see what white's plan is. King h3, idea of g4, and when he plays h5, then knight f4. It would force black to make a move like, well, bishop g6. g6 is not good because bishop takes on f5 and breaks everything on the king side or in the center. So he will have to play bishop g6, which is very, very ugly. The king can go back to g2 whenever. So black played g5, but of course this creates new weaknesses, especially opens the h file for white, and the weakness of g5, of course. Pawn takes, rook h1, bishop g6, king g1. Idea now is knight e3 and start trading all the defenders of the king side, all the black defenders, the knight on f5, the bishop on g6, king g7, knight e3, knight takes. Black also must be careful with knight g4, so bishop takes e2, queen takes. Now white has the open h file and the pawn on g5 to attack. Very simple plan is king g2, rook h5 and rook a h1, for example. King g6, king g2. The threat was rook h5, so take, king takes, rook h1 and rook h5. The pawn is gone. g4, knight h2, b5 take, knight takes g4. Of course white is winning long ago, but still is nice to see how the game finished. Queen b6, the only chance in the whole game that black could attack something was b2, and b2 is easily defended, like I said before, with just the bishop on c1. You can see the difference. Black has his queen and the rook to attack a pawn that white defends only with the bishop. King f8, king g8. If king e8, something like knight h6 is very strong. So king g8, queen d2, and black resigns. If he takes on h7 after queen h6 and knight f6, check, white wings. This is a game also by Baklan with the white pieces. Very interesting. Alright, another move, and it may be the best, is knight g6. The knight is comfortable on g6, and black can play bishop e7 and later c5. That's what I think. I like the move knight g6. If white continues with g3, then bishop e7, and now it's possible that that white should play h4, I think, in this position. Okay, h4, and it's not so clear. Where to put the knight. Alright, so I take that back what I said. Knight g6 is not very good, I think. After g3, knight e3 was played in a game by a grandmaster, but the game didn't turn out too well. The plan he did, even though it's interesting, I think black obtained some counterplay. For example, queen b6, the white king is a little open, and he must be careful with f5 because e5 is hanging because of the pin. So, but okay, we can suggest the move h4. looks very interesting, with the idea of knight e1 and knight g2, of course, and only play h5 later. Okay, back to our main game, in which black played knight c8. White continued with knight fe1, and this is a very good move. The main thing is that white changes his mind, and this is because the knight on c8 is, I think, is too far from the king's side, and probably this is how white is trying to punish black. You will see that the idea is that after bishop e7, bishop d3, the white queen is now open to pass to the king's side. Black has a weakness on a6 if he castles. So, and the knight is going to f4 anyway after it takes on d3. Black took on d3. If castle, then queen h5 doesn't make much difference, and after knight b6, for example, white could play bishop takes on a6, takes on a6, queen a6, now forcing to take on d3, and after knight takes on d3, white has 2 pawns for the piece, and these plans that you can see now, rook e1, rook e3, or f4, f5, they are all very strong, I think. White's compensation is probably sufficient to play for a win. I mean, I think white is winning. That's what I think. Alright, black took on d3, knight takes, castle. It's strange that Burmakin doesn't see the danger, because he's a very solid player, but he probably underestimated White's idea. Now queen h5, very strong move. Also queen g4 is possible, but the text is better. Queen h5. Now black played queen e8. The idea of queen e8 is to play f5, either trading the queens or locking the king's side. So let's see other moves first. If in case of c5, again bishop a6 takes, and now f4. There is no need to take on a6. White must hurry up the attack. Ideas like f5 or rook f3 and rook g3 or knight d3, knight g4, all of them are very strong. This is all because black is hopeless on the king's side. He doesn't have enough pieces there. There are no knights to defend. So the sacrifice is quite strong. King h7 seems like the best defense, and in this case white could try knight e3, idea of knight g4, queen e8, and now queen g4, avoiding f5. Still white has a very strong plan, that is f4 and f5, so black must do something. And after e takes on f6, rook takes on f6, queen e2, white has ideas with knight g4 and knight e5, and also black has a weak pawn on e6. So the position is clearly better for white, but still it was, I think, the best that black had. Queen e8 was played by Burmakin, and then bishop a6, the move that gives white a clear advantage, or winning, we can say, because I didn't find any defense for black. pawn takes, and queen takes. 2 pawns for the piece, and now rook a to e1, rook e3, and rook g3 checkmate. So black must open with f6. Rook e1, not wasting any time, queen f7, and rook e3. Now rook e3 is a main threat, so queen h7, rook d3 check, king h8, and queen e3 is threatening rook h3 now, pinning the queen. Let's see. Of course, white, black cannot do anything against the move rook h3, anything but moving the queen. So let's see. In the game he played queen f5, but let's see queen e4. If queen e4, white simply plays queen d2. The idea is rook e1, and if pawn takes on e5, then simply d takes on e5 with the threat of rook e1 and rook h3. The queen on f5 cannot be because of knight d4. That's the problem. So there are many ways to win. You can see for yourself. In the game black played queen f5 and then rook f3, queen e4, queen d2, black took on e5, and now white played the move rook e1, which is winning, but still probably even stronger was rook h3 check. And after king g8, rook e1, queen f5, d takes on e5. It would transpose to what we were just saying in the previous line. The idea of knight d4 or rook 1 e3. There are many ways to win. Almost anything wins. Black is playing without the knight on c8 or the rook on a8. He doesn't have any counterplay, and his king is too open. Okay, Baklan played rook e1, which is probably the most human move. It's better to have the queen at hand already. So rook f3, only move. Other moves, simply queen g6, rook h3, and rook g3, pinning the queen. So black had to sacrifice. Rook e4, d takes, and now okay, g takes, f3 is possible, but not so strong. Knight c5. Okay, the thing is that if black takes on c5, white takes on f3, and then the piece that he took on c5 is under attack. So he has to waste another tempo, and white plays queen a6 and takes e6, takes everything. So rook f7, knight takes on d7. Black only has one rook for the queen. His position is completely lost. Still he continues for a few more moves. Rook h7, knight d6, queen f4, threatening to win another piece with knight d7, knight f5, loses another pawn, queen takes on e4, rook f7, black cannot hold anything, queen e6, knight e3, and now after knight takes on e3, the last fine is knight e5, threatening the rook. If the rook moves, loses the bishop on e7, threatening queen g6. If rook a f8, queen g6 followed by knight f7 check, winning the two rooks. So black resigns. Okay, I hope you like this game, and especially the line. I took the line after seeing this game for a few games myself. It's very interesting and very easy to play. If you want to study it, I suggest you look at the games by Baklan with the white pieces. He's probably the best specialist in this line. Okay, see you on the next